It's been a good week. It's been a crazy week. Oh my goodness. Like I thought the week was just going to be about comedy in London. And then Israel and Iran happened. And then we were on like the brink of like World War III. Like you here are now Friday crowd having fun. Monday, Tuesday crowd. Whew. Yeah. You try tell jokes when there's missiles outside. Like everyone was here like... Because that would be a weird way, like, to be, you know what I mean? Like at the beginning of World War III. Like, people are like, where were you? When you're like, well, did you see what happened? No, I didn't. Where were you? Trevor was telling us about Brixton. It was such an insane story as well. Like now I feel like the world we live in, I sometimes think about like parallel universes and timelines, and I'm not sure if I believe it, but when I do think about it, I go like, I think we somehow slipped into the ludicrous timeline. Like we were all in a very normal timeline, us as people, and then something happened around like COVID, and then we went into the crazy timeline, and then the other versions of us are now like, wow, things have become very boring and normal. Because like, this is not normal, you know? Like the week starts off, it's been like 2 weeks technically. Right, starts off, Iran was negotiating a nuclear deal with America. Negotiating a deal. They're making progress. They're getting close. They're getting super close. And then Israel was like, no deal. And then Israel started launching missiles at Iran, right? And then it's hard to make a deal when it's like missiles hitting you, you know what I mean? It's like when you're like trying to break up with someone at a restaurant and then the waiter keeps coming, is everything great? Just wait. Let me just handle. So what I'm saying is, how's everything going? Yeah. Look, hey, we'll call you. We'll call you, please. So Iran was like, all right, I can't handle. And so then Iran was like, missiles back at Israel, missiles. And then Israel was like, missiles. And then Iran was like, missiles. And it was going back and forth. Israel was definitely winning it because like Iran has missiles, but not like Israel's type of missiles. You know what I mean? Like Iran doesn't have much money and stuff. So their missiles are like those cheap fireworks your friends... You know when your parents would, like, they'd feel bad. You'd be like, what are we doing for Guy Fawkes Day? And then your parents would be like, do you want these ones? You're like, do you like them? They're like, no, just throw them on the ground. I was like, pat. Do you feel like the other kids? No, I don't at all. So Iran has those ones, and then they were launching back and forth. And the whole world was like, man, this again. Middle East conflict, Middle East. And then, at the peak of it, everyone was like, man, how could this get worse? Donald Trump was like, hello. Donald Trump came in and he was like, I'm gonna help. I'm gonna totally de-escalate this situation. And we were like, my man, you've never de-escalated a thing in your life. From your hair to your politics, nothing is a de-escalation. Nothing. But Trump came in and he's like, I don't like how Iran and Israel are launching bombs at each other all the time. So many bombs, we can't have this, it's not right. Too many bombs, we gotta stop it. No more bombs, we gotta stop it, we gotta fix it. And they're like, all right, how are you gonna fix it? He's like, by dropping bombs. I'm gonna drop bombs. And no one expected it. Like the whole world was like, okay, Trump is gonna mediate, or because he said to them, hey guys, let's sort this out, peace deal. We're gonna do a peace deal. And then he dropped bombs on Iran. And everyone in the world was like, what the hell? And a lot of people in my life were like, oh man, I can't believe that Trump did this. I can't believe. And they were so stressed. And I was like, yes, but look on the bright side. And they were like, what bright side? I was like, on the bright side, Trump also can't believe that he did this. Like that's the one glimmer of hope that I get from Donald Trump, is that like he also doesn't know what he's doing. He's in it with us, which is a nice change. Oftentimes we're at the mercy of those in power, but he's in the mercy with us. Like we're all locked in a prison cell, but he's holding the key and he's like, we're all trapped. What are we gonna do? We're like, use the key. What are you talking about? And the reason I say this is because Trump came out and he hosted a press conference about it. It was so wild. He hosted a press conference about dropping the bombs. And he was shocked in the press conference. He came out and he's like, earlier today, the United States military, that's us, launched missiles, bunker busters, launched missiles on Iran, on all their nuclear facilities. And boy, you don't understand. You've never seen bombs like that before. They came down and they dropped them, those bombs. I couldn't believe what those bombs were doing. I couldn't believe it. And I called. I'm the one who called. I said, drop the bombs. I didn't know I was gonna call. I said 2 weeks. I told everybody 2 weeks. It was gonna be 2 weeks. And then I was on the plane. Then I said, I'm calling. Drop the bombs. And the bombs were dropped. I'd never seen bombs like that. I said, whoa, we're never dropping bombs like that again. I never seen bombs like that. Those bombs were dropped and now it's over. We're all good. And so now because America had dropped bombs on them, then Iran had to respond, but then Iran didn't want to get into a fight. No one wants to get into a fight with America, you know what I mean? And so like Iran was like, we are going to retaliate against you. And then they launched missiles at an American base in Qatar, but then they phoned America first. They did. They were like, all right, we are launching bombs against you in like 45 minutes, an hour maybe. You tell us how long you need. Then we'll launch the bombs. And then the Americans cleared out their base and everything important, and then the bombs fell. And then Trump, very like in an interesting way, he responded to Iran. Then he wrote on his like thing online on his profile. He was like, thank you to Iran for giving us notice about the bombs. Now it's over. It's all over. There will be peace. And then he said, Iran, Israel, peace. And they were like, all right, peace. All good. Then Trump went to sleep. And in the 4 hours that he was sleeping, Israel, like out of nowhere, they came and they were like, Iran launched more missiles. And then everyone was like, wait, what missiles? And Israel was like, you launched missiles. And everyone was like, no, And then Israel was like, too late, we're coming for you with more bombs. And then the world was like, what? And then Trump woke up. And this was the moment when I can safely say I have felt more connected to Donald Trump than I've ever in my entire life. Because that man is not a normal human being. Very seldom have I looked at Trump and thought, yeah, I can relate to this. But he came out after Israel was about to launch a full-scale bombing attack on Iran. And he came out, he heard about this. Man didn't even put on a tie. Came out of the White House half-dressed, ran straight into reporters, and he went into it. He was like, I heard about what Iran is doing and what Israel is doing. And let me tell you, I'm angry at Iran, but I'm more angry at Israel. They said peace, and I said we're going to do peace, and they're launching, and I'm sick of them. Israel, you better not do it. You don't do it, Israel. I said peace. You don't do it. He looked like a dad who had kids that were fighting in the backyard. And he was just going back and forth. He's just like, Israel, shut up, baby. Come on, shut up. Sit up. How many times do you have to tell your kids that you're not going to? I told you once and I'll tell you again. And then he looked at the reporter and he did something I've never seen an American president do in my entire life. He cursed live on TV into the camera. Looked at the camera and he was like, they were like, what do you think, Mr.? He's like, I'll tell you what this is. You've got two countries that have been fighting so long, they don't know what the they're doing. You're like, oh, Dad is mad. Dad is mad. And I don't know what was crazier, the fact that he cursed on live TV as an American president, or the fact that that somehow became bigger news than the actual bombs that were dropped. The bombs was like half a day of news. The biggest bombs ever dropped on a country randomly out of war was barely any news. And then Trump came out and he swore every news outlet, Guardian, BBC, Al Jazeera, CNN, you name, all of them, Trump curses, Trump swears, Trump says F word, F word. And I was like, damn, so the F bomb was more important than the bomb. Everyone on TV, we've never seen this before. We've never seen an American president curse on national television. This has never, I don't even understand what we're seeing right now. Donald Trump, and I must warn sensitive viewers, you showed footage of cities being leveled by bombs. You said it just casually. Let me show you some of the bombs that were dropped here. Let me show you some of the bombs. All right, now, Trump said something. I must warn you, if you have children in the room, you might want to cover their ears. You might want to cover their ears because he said the F-bomb. Like, people cared more about the words than it was the wildest thing. Wildest thing. I can't believe it. They were doing it as if the people in Iran were just like, yeah, no. The bombs are one thing. But what he said. You can take bombs back, but words. Words are forever. Oh, man. Do you guys have any questions? Any thoughts on Jon Stewart coming back to that's the greatest thing ever. Are you kidding me? That's like, it's like Jordan is, that's like one of the wild, I remember talking to friends about this. I was like, I wonder if John would ever, and it's like, yeah, but you know, John was, and he was like gone for so long. And I was like, will Jon Stewart come back? And then when they said it, I was like, of course. And in the election, you know what it's like? It's like, I love Marvel movies, like, well, not the new ones, but like there was a bunch, no, when they were still like really good, you know what I mean? And this scene feels like, you know that moment where you don't know that a hero is going to jump into another movie? That's what it sort of feels like. It's sort of like Thor's hammer, you know, in that scene when they're all like fighting, what's his name again? Ring guy. Thanos, thank you. Yeah, Thanos. You know, and you know that scene where the hammer comes, that's what it felt like John coming back. And he's smart to do once a week. John and I always spoke about this. And like the hardest thing about doing The Daily Show is the fact that it's daily. It really is. It's the hardest thing about it. And John and I would always talk and we'd be like, man, if only there was a way you could just do like a day of the show. And then like now, I literally messaged him and then I was like, you son of a you figured it out! You figured it out! God it! Godspeed, Jon Stewart! When I came to New York for the first time, he said to me, he's like, come hang out at the show with me. And so I went to hang out with him. And we had so much fun just bantering. I wasn't supposed to be on the show, by the way. We had so much fun bantering that John was like, come on the show. He's like, let's do something on the show. And I was like, oh, I don't know. And he's like, no, let's do something. We'll make it fun. And we did. We made it fun. We had a good time. And then I left. I went back to South Africa. Then I came back. Another time he's like, let's do it again. And I was like, all right, let's do it again. We did it again. And then I left. I went back to South Africa. Then I came back and he's like, let's do it again. And then we did it again. And I was like, oh, this is so much fun. And then he's like, okay, I'm leaving. He's like, I'm leaving. And he's like, maybe you should do it. Then I was like, what? I felt like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It was like the weirdest thing ever. I just came for a tour. I just wanted some of the Wonka bars. And then the next thing, I'm like managing the Oompa Loompas. I'm like, I don't know how this works. This is crazy. So we talked about it a lot, you know? Like I call him my Jewish Yoda. That's what like John is. Yeah, because he like guides me and he's like really smart and everything. And so we always talked about like, you know, how hard it is to do something like this. And as you get older, you want to spend more time with your family, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then, yeah. And then when I heard this, I was like, yes. And the worst thing is I knew, but then you can't say to the people, you know? So now you're walking around like, mm-hmm. There's nothing worse than having a secret that's cool, but you can't say anything because it's still, and then, you know? So I was just like looking at people like, oh. And they're like, what? I'm like, oh, you don't even know. You don't even know. So you're originally from Austin. Okay. All right, so what would you suggest? What's your name, man?
Laurel.
Laurel? Pleasure to meet you, Laurel. So you're from Austin. Where in Austin are you from? South Austin. I like how you just do, I've never been to a place where people do that, by the way. Yeah, you guys just have like compass directions. So if I were in New York and I said to somebody in the audience, where are you from? They'd be like, oh, I'm from New Jersey. I'm from Long Island. I'm from Queens. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from here. People are just like, South. I'm sorry, relative to where we are now, or what do you mean? I'm from South. It's like, you know, we have names for places now. You don't have to have that old time mentality anymore. People act like they're still on horse and carriage. What part of town do you live in, partner? I live south. Literally, it's just like, and I've learned there's inflections to them. So people be like, south, they say it like that. And then like east, people draw it out. They'd be like, oh, you're in east? And then I'm like, I don't know what happens in east, but I don't think I like it. Okay, so what would you recommend, Laurel from south? What am I trying to do? Something interesting. Something that I couldn't do anywhere else other than Austin. Something to see, something to experience. What would you recommend? Barton Springs. Okay. What is Barton Springs? It's a natural spring. Ooh, I like that. Yes, as opposed to unnatural springs. I wonder what that would be. Right? It's like a toxic waste dump. I don't know where the water comes from, but it's great. It really is. Plus, this third arm is handy for washing my back. So it's a natural spring. And do people still go into it? Yeah, you go in. Clothed or unclothed? You wear a bathing suit. Okay, typically. So some people do not. I like the two of you. Like, I love this because you're telling me all the information and then you've got two people next to you and they're just doing hand signs. So I was like, clothed or unclothed? And he was like, and then I was like, do they do so? And then she was like, okay. Okay, so it depends on, all right. Does it depend on the day? Are there like more nude people on certain days, or it just depends on me? Like me as Trevor, like if I'm there, then it changes? Oh, just as a person. Oh, I thought you were like, Trevor, you have the power. Oh, that would have been exciting. I would have been there tomorrow like, hey, take that off. Laurel says so. Okay, I'm gonna Barton Springs. I will do that. Is it open every day? Do you pay to go into it, or is it just like a... You do, you pay, and then... If I say I'm from Austin, I'll get in cheaper. Okay. I like how confident you just said that. So you're like, just say you're from Austin, get in cheaper. I think something would give me away, sir. Something would give, they'd be like, you're from Austin? I'd be like, yes. Can you not tell by my accent? They'd be like, what part of Austin are you from? I'd be like, very south. Very, very south. Oh, that's fun. I like that suggestion, Laurel. All right. So you're originally from here. Who's this gentleman next to you?
This is my boyfriend, Benjamin.
This is your boyfriend, Benjamin. Hey, how you doing, boyfriend, Benjamin? You doing good? Yeah. How long have you two been together? About 9 years. Ooh, I like that. You still got like that cozy thing. You've got your bodies mirroring each other. You both got your legs at the same angle, smiling, having fun. Oh, this is good. Where are you from originally, Benjamin?
Kingsville, Texas.
Kingsville, Texas. Oh, you got a fan. One fan. Why did you want to live in Austin, Texas? What was it about Austin, Texas that Kingsville didn't give you? Every thing. The way he said that was amazing. He's like, everything. Trevor, they got everything out here. They got water, they got lights, they got electricity, they got cars. Okay, well, good for you. Good for you. Congratulations. When's your anniversary coming up? It's 9 years. When does it become 10? Wait, why are you choosing it? That was fascinating. I said, when does it come? You were both like, Like, when do we want it to be 10 years? Like, that was a weird... You were so I said, how long have you been together? You were both like, 9 years. And then I said, when is the 10th? And you were like, Is there gonna be a 10? How does 10 work? What was that delay? You don't really know? What do you mean you don't really know? You don't really know when 10 comes? What?
We're never quite sure upon the date.
Oh, you're never sure about the date. Okay, I understand. Oh, I thought you were just like, we're not sure in general. Okay, I was like, this is more conversation for therapy than comedy. Okay, you're not sure about, but is there a month that you celebrate?
December.
So 10 years would be December. Oh, So you just got to 9. Okay, congrats. Do you have anything planned for, like, is there a way you celebrate the anniversary that isn't on a specific day? I mean, that is a lot of fun, because, like, you can never forget it. That is cool. Like, any day in December, you can just turn around and be like, happy anniversary. That's a pretty cool way to do it, actually, you know? You've got 31 days, Benjamin. 31 days. That's a good, like, hit rate. You know what I mean? And there's days that remind you as well. Like, when you see Santa, you're like, oh, Laurel. Hey, honey.
Next one's gonna be butt stuff.
Next one's gonna be?
Next one's gonna be butt stuff.
Butt stuff? Oh, man. I love how you said that with the biggest grin on your face. You're like, the next one's gonna be butt stuff. Butt stuff. Oh, that's cool, Benjamin. I like how excited you are for that, Benjamin. You really are. So Laurel's just gonna be there butt stuffing you. You'll be like... Any questions? What is my favorite what? What is my favorite kind of chair? Who said that? So, I will answer your question, but first, I would like to know from you, where do you get your weed? That is one of the wildest questions any human being has ever asked me in my entire life. Are you saying like rocking chair or office chair? What are you looking for from me? I'm so intrigued by you right now. Like a rocking chair, or that's literally what you were asking me. Yo, those brownies are dope. Like, what kind of chair does he like? Like, I just want to know. I do like rocking chairs. My favorite chair is a swinging chair. Any chair that's suspended on like a chain and then swings, I like. But not a bench, the chair. Like, you know, it's just like you in the chair and then it swings. I like those. But I also like rocking. Any chair that moves when it's supposed to move is my favorite kind of chair. Yes. All the others I do not pay much attention to. But now that we've had this conversation, everywhere I sit from now on, I will think of you. What is your name? K-H-U-S-H-I. Oh, K-H-U-S-H-I, Kushi. I'll think every single time I sit. I will think of Kushi now. Did you say something? Did I get a house yet? No, I didn't. Thank you for asking. Thank you. I didn't. No, I sold my place a while ago, thinking I would then move to another place, and then interest rates did a thing, and then people were like, "We don't want to sell our houses." And then I was like, "But I sold mine," and they were like, "Well, that's your problem." And then I've been looking for houses ever since. It's weird, man. Looking for houses. You know what? Like, it's like another market. Just the whole thing feels like scammy. You know? It just feels scammy. It's made me, I've been doing it for so long that I question everything now. Even the concept of home ownership. Because in America, like the dream they'll sell you is they're like, you want to own your home. And you're like, why? And they're like, because this is your wealth. Because this is the financially savvy thing to do. But then when you look at the numbers, you're like, why does it feel like I pay more than if I rent? And they're like, yeah, don't worry about that. This is the better one. Because if you rent, you waste money. You pay every month. But if you own it, you pay every month. And when things break, you have to fix it. And you can never leave unless somebody wants to take it from you, but they don't. They do not. What's real estate like in Seattle? Is it Yeah, see, all of you are just like. Yeah, good luck living anywhere. You'll sell me your house? I love how quickly you said that. You're like, I'll sell you my house. I'll sell you my house. That's the weird thing with real estate. You don't want anybody's house if they're selling it. No, nobody wants to sell a good house. That's the weird thing. Like, right? Real estate is almost like relationships. You don't want someone if they're single. You're like, what's wrong with you? What's the deal? I'm single. Yeah, what's your problem? Huh? You got termites? Huh? Where is your house, ma'am? North Capitol Hill. Oh, you've got fans. Are you actually selling? Yeah. How quickly things changed. I showed a little interest and you started thinking about it. It's a weird one. Really, all of it is like, I just find it weird. You know? It's like, there's like an older generation that just bought the houses for nothing. And then now the younger generation is like, we can't buy the houses. We don't make enough money. Do you remember the game show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? That was an evil cackle. If you're young, I get why you laughed like that. If you're old, you're evil. Because I was like, no one can afford it. And that person was like, ha 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 ha! My plan has worked! Screw you, Gen Z! People always give Gen Z shit for not wanting to work, but I'm like, but why would you want to work if there's nothing to work for? Do you know what I mean? Like, what's the point of like grinding away if there's literally nothing? Because before you'd be like, I work hard so that I can put a roof over this family's heads. And then now it's like, I work hard so that I can't do anything. How would you do it? Like, how old are you, sir? 14. You will never buy a house. It's finished for you. Is this your mom? You just have to wait for her to die. That's it. That's your only hope. Do you have any siblings? You've got one, older, younger? Younger. Oh yeah, so it's you. You're gonna be the first one. She looks like she loves you. She looks at you like she loves you. You realize in like 4 or 5 years, that look's gonna change. What's your name? Jack? Yeah, she's gonna be like, hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back. And then you're gonna have to go look for a house, Jack. You won't find one, Jack. And then your mom's gonna be like, I worked and I got this house, you can do it too, but you can't, Jack, she's lying to you. So you came with your mom to a show? That's super cool, man. Good for you, good for you. Hi, mom. Did you bring him or did he bring you? Wait, oh, you? She said, of course I brought him because he doesn't have any money. Damn, Jack, you got burned. I want to live in your house, Jack. You got a mom roasting you like that? Oh, man. Oh, damn, I can't imagine your life, Jack. Just walking around. People are like, oh, where's your house, Jack? She's like, oh, he doesn't have one. He lives with me, broke little bitch. No, it's good, Jack. It'll toughen you up. It'll toughen you up. Do you own the house, Mom? You do. Congratulations. So are you going to hand it down to them? Wow, she paused. Damn. Damn, Jack. She was like, Damn, Jack. Say again? He wants to live in LA. Jack, you will not get a house, Jack. What are you not understanding, Jack? Why do you want to live in LA, Jack?
Well, I also want to live in San Francisco.
You also want to live in San Francisco? Jack, do you ever go on Zillow and see what's happening in these places? Shit is real in these streets, Jack. You like picking dream location. You know there used to be a game show called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Jack? And that game show was successful because people were like, if you're a millionaire, you can do things. You know why that game show doesn't exist anymore, Jack? Because a million doesn't do shit, Jack. Nothing, Jack. You want to live in San Francisco and LA? In a house, Jack? What are you going to do for a living, Jack? You want to play professional basketball? Okay, that's the right idea. That is the right idea, Jack. What position do you play? I don't know basketball very well. What would you play as? Point guard. All right, so that's passing and shooting. Okay, that's good. That's good. No, that's very good. As a white kid, you must know what you're going to be doing. It'll save you stress in the long run. Because there was a generation of white guys that really got caught off guard. You know, no pun intended, but they were like, I want to be the big man. And then Shaq was like, do you know? So are you really good? Oh, mom says you're really good. Okay, she didn't roast you there. All right. No, really. She was like, How long have you been playing for? That's a good question. A few years or many years? Since you were 2 years old. Okay, I believe in you, Jack. I believe in you. You go and you do your best. You crush it. I mean it. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Live your dream. What's the worst that can happen? Maybe you don't make it into the NBA. Maybe you play in another league. You play like in Europe. Some of the leagues are growing. Things are getting better, right? So you can play in other places. You can even come back. Look at Wembanyama. He got drafted. He wasn't even in like the lower leagues in America. So you can just come at any time. So don't let anybody tell you you can't follow your dreams. You can go. You can crush it in the NBA. And even if you don't worry. You still weren't going to get a house, Jack. So nothing changes, Jack.
The greatest city on earth.
Let's hear you, New York. I think we're gonna have to roll. We'll be good. We'll be good. No, because of time. We wrap it up. You know, time-wise, we gotta roll. Why? You want me to do something else, or you want to talk about something? I always pick on you. So what's on your mind? What do you want to talk about?
I'm not sure if you heard. So there's a bunch of comics that went to Saudi Arabia and did the comics. And there's some comics talking shit, and there's other comics like, well, I gotta get this money. You know what I'm saying?
Weren't you one of the comics who went to Saudi Arabia? Oh man. Yeah, it was a whole. How many was it in the end? Was it like 50, or did it start as 50 and then? It was huge though, right? It was Saudi Arabia's first comedy festival, I think, the Riyadh Comedy Festival, and they had a bunch of comedians go out there. It's been all over the news. See people arguing about it on TikTok. It's like, let me tell you what I think about what's happening. I don't know. It's an interesting one. I'll start with this, like. When you know what Saudi Arabia is all about, it's weird to go to a comedy festival that is paid for by Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean? And this is what I mean. There's a difference. I'm all for going anywhere to perform for anyone, because there are people who live in countries that don't agree with what their countries are doing. So I don't assume that everybody who lives in a country is the same as the people running the country, right? That's the first thing. But when the government is paying you to come, that's like a direct relationship that's different. Does that make sense? It changes up. And I don't know, man, like Saudi Arabia, you're like, damn. You just do a cursory search. You don't even have to like dig deep. You don't have to go do your research, or just the things that Saudi Arabia does, you know what I mean? Like, you see all the comedians who went, like Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, Bill Burr, Louis C.K., like it was like a whole bunch, Aziz Ansari. You know what I mean? I'm friends with all of these guys. Like, I'm just like, but they went to Saudi, and I'm like, if you search Saudi, you see the things that happened there, right? government is on some like almost dictator level shit, right? Like you say the wrong thing, you get disappeared in a moment. Like it's just like 1 minute your family knows where you are and then they don't. Women like don't have control over their own bodies. You know, free speech is limited. Violence is the order of the day. I don't know, man. I don't think I'd ever perform in Saudi Arabia. I would only perform in the United States. Because that would never happen here, Will. That would never happen here. Can you imagine what would happen if America announced that they were just like scooping people up and just like disappearing them? Can you imagine? These here United States, Will? Huh? Can you imagine if one day they were just like, oh, women, oh, men control your bodies? Can you imagine that, Will? That is why I perform in America, Will. I don't judge anybody, to be honest with you, especially in these types of things. Because I think, number one, everyone has a number. Number two, people like to judge depending on the position that they're in. So someone's like, oh, would you go to Saudi? I'm like, I wouldn't say no, but I wouldn't say yes. It would have to be an amount of money that makes me not care. No, I'm being honest with you. It would have to be an amount of money that makes me not care about everything else that I'm going to lose. That's the honest truth. So like every person who would be disappointed in me, I would have to have an amount for what that's worth in my life. So then if somebody said to me, they're like, I'm disappointed in you. In my head, I'd be like, 10,000. Every time that would happen, I'll just like have that little number. I'll be like, yeah, this is already paid for. This is fine. But if it's not that kind of money, then no, like I personally wouldn't do it if it's not that kind of money. But I also think there's a little bit of like, I don't know, I'm so conflicted on this. Because look, on the one hand, I get what people are saying. Some people are like, oh, it's comedy washing and the sports washing. And, you know, they're trying to get people to come in to launder their image. And I go, but is it laundering their image? Because there's a lot of people who didn't really follow Saudi or care about it that now know about what Saudi is doing because these people went there. And I argue sometimes it's the people going there that makes you now go like, where are you going? What's happening there? What are you doing there? And it's like, now Saudi's like, we had just snuck away. We were playing golf. We were enjoying ourselves. It is also crazy how like comedians will take the most smoke in the day and age that we live in. Right? Like the president of the United States goes to Saudi, dances with them. People are just like, yeah, you got to do what you got to do, you know? You got to make fun. You got to get your allies. Live golf, Saudi, huh? Best golfers in the world. Formula One goes to Saudi. You name it. Everyone goes, comedians. How could they? You're like, the bastions of free speech. You cannot say anything you want in Saudi. How could you go there? That's a very American point of view. I'm going to let you know now, right? And it is a privilege. You should keep that point of view, but it's a very American one. Because in many countries around the world, you can't just say whatever you want when you're performing or when you're there. You know, like Singapore, you know what I'm talking about, yeah? Malaysia in the house as well, you know what I'm talking about? No, there's a lot of places. Even when I was in India, we were doing shows, you and I were in India, and this is not like a law. I'm not saying this is a law, but when we were in India, people would come up to me and they're like, so Trevor, are you going to make jokes about Modi? I'd be like, Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister? They're like, yes, are you going to make jokes about him? And I'll be like, I mean, if I see something funny, they're like, okay. And I'm like, why? Should I not make jokes? They're like, no, you can make jokes about Modi. You can. Then we're going to see what happens afterwards. That's going to be the show after the show. It's almost perfect comedy timing that this happened now, right? Because had this comedy festival happened at any other time, I think America as an idea would have had more of a leg to stand on as a moral authority, right? But like, this is the same country where a few weeks ago, you know, Jimmy Kimmel gets kicked off his show for not making, by the way, he didn't even make a joke. I went back to look for the joke that they said, there is no joke. He just had a comment about something that he didn't feel was appropriate, and whether he's wrong or right, but it wasn't even a joke. He said nothing about Charlie Kirk. The joke wasn't about nothing. And they were like, gone. Right? Same country. Same country where hundreds of people have been fired for saying anything about Charlie Kirk post him being shot. Anything. People getting fired from companies. People, for you in your private life say some shit and then your company fires you because they're like, Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk. Here's the thing. People are like, oh, what do you think? Charlie Kirk, to me, is like, okay, someone got shot. It's not great. I didn't wish for it. But now you can't like terrorize your population if they dare to say something about the thing. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. This is the same country where people make jokes about Abraham Lincoln being shot. Which I think is like ranks higher. But people will make jokes. This is literally, America was the place where I learned the joke, where they were like, but other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? That's the joke. Yeah, you know it. And it's crazy, but that's what makes America such a fascinating place, is that you can make those jokes. You know, it's like people made the jokes about Kennedy, yeah? JFK, like after he was assassinated, people were like, oh yeah, well, they'd be like, I'm never buying a drop top, you know what I mean? And some people are like, I don't like it, it's in bad taste. Yeah, but that's what jokes can be. They can be in bad taste. That's why this room has no windows. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be us understanding that you're saying a thing that may or may not be real in bad taste, and it's like an outlet. It's like UFC. Everything has context, right? People punch each other in the street, they go to jail. You put a cage around them and Joe Rogan on the side screaming. It's a $6 billion event. You know? So I mean, I don't know. It's not one of those things where I go, it's binary. And maybe spending more time in South Africa has helped me think like that now again. It's like, it's not just binary. It's easy to say all the comedians who went there are sellouts and you can pay them. Yeah, but everyone has that in some way, shape, or form. Everyone in entertainment that you know, they can't go and trash their TV station or the people who own it, or they'll get fired by the business. That's how it'll work. Right? You can't say what you want right now in America about Donald Trump even. Right? There's people who get to the border, they look through their phones. If they've made any jokes on their social media or any shit about Donald Trump, you're out. You're out. They look through your phones. I now, because of that, just to be safe, I used AI and I made nudes of Trump. And then I've texted it to my friends being like, God damn, this guy's so hot. This man is so sexy. Oh, man. I'm not gay, but he could get it. Oh, man. I would be in that ass. Get that orange all over me, baby. Some of that vitamin C. Yeah, because that's going to be hard for them. What are they going to do? Are they going to kick me out? Like, what are they going to? They're going to be, let me see your phone. And then they'll take my phone and be like, oh, you messaged about Trump. Let's see what you, sir, well, this guy texted a lot about Trump. What did he say? He said he'd smash. That's what he said. I think that's a good thing. Like, it's like, oh, man. I also think there's something that Saudi's doing the other way around, in the direction that they're going. I've never been pro Mohammed bin Salman, and, you know, it's like, whatever. I just do think sometimes there's a little bit of, like, Western, you know, superiority. Like, they'll be like, he had a man killed. One man? One man? Yo, every American president, you know how many people have been killed by America with no due process at all? Just like you're just driving and then all of a sudden a drone is just like, hello. Everyone, doesn't matter which president. I'm not even Republican, Democrat, does not matter. Doesn't matter. You'd be like, oh, George Bush did that. Yeah, so did Obama. He was like, bye-bye. You'd be like, but those people were terrorists. Yeah, but some of them, we don't even know, because there was literally no court case, no nothing. So can you say anything? Can you? You know, it all depends. So I think they might be going in the right direction. Again, I'm not saying that it's good. I'm just saying they might be going in the right direction. Because one of the first things you lose, funny enough, in an authoritarian regime is comedy. It's a crazy trend that you can follow throughout time. Go to Russia, South Africa, right? When I was growing up, until I was 6 years old, maybe even like closer to 10, free speech wasn't a thing. You couldn't just say whatever you wanted. There was no stand-up comedy in South Africa. It was because you'd go to jail, right? The few white comedians who dared to say something about the government went to jail. Black comedians, you couldn't even do that. There was a rule in the country. 3 or more people were gathered. They considered that a political event, and then you were just arrested. You couldn't even like start your show. You guys having it? Ah, shit, I gotta go. But like, it's actually interesting how that's the first thing that goes in a country, you know, is the comedy. Vladimir Putin, one of the first things he did when he came to power was he shut down a puppet show that was very popular in Russia and Eastern Europe that used to poke fun at world leaders. And one of the first things he did was he had that show and the whole station shut down. Because comedy has this weird thing about it, man. I don't know, and I don't like to inflate it because it's supposed to be goofy, it's supposed to be stupid, right? But that stupidity butts up against the terror that you're often feeling with an authoritarian. You know what I mean? It's like Charlie Chaplin. The troops in the war said that Charlie Chaplin and his movie The Dictator, where he played Hitler as like this goofy dude, they said that was the first time they thought of Hitler as an idiot. Because before then, everyone was just like, Hitler's going to take over the world. You couldn't do anything to Hitler. And then they saw that movie and they were like, oh, this guy's goofy. That mustache is kind of weird. And that literally gave people hope. They were like, oh, if we can laugh at that thing, then maybe we can beat it. So in a weird way, I almost feel like Saudi's moving in the right direction. I'm not saying they're there yet, but they're moving in the right direction. You're having all the comedians. People are like, oh, but you can't say this about the royal family. Yeah, okay, fine. But you're still moving in the right direction. They used to have comedy shows where men and women were separated, and now the audiences are mixed from what they were, right? Yeah, audiences are mixed from what I understand. So again, not perfect, but moving in the right direction. Meanwhile, here, comedians are shitting themselves. Don't say anything about Charlie Kirk. I wasn't going to say anything about, yeah, but don't say anything about Charlie. I wasn't going to say anything about Charlie Kirk, but don't. There's nothing funny about it. Oh, now you tested me. I mean, there's nothing funny about it? You can't say there's nothing funny about it. Oh, there's nothing fun. No, don't say that, because as a comedian, I'll be like, I'm sure there's something funny about it. The guy was shot while defending guns. Do you understand how... I'm not even writing that as a joke. As a human, you have to admit that is an incongruous, funny thing that happens. You are there, you're like on stage and you're like, let me tell you why people should have guns. Wapa! That would be like if the captain of the Titanic was giving an impassioned speech about icebergs right before it happened. He was just there and he's like, I'll tell you why icebergs are not as bad as people say. Whoa! Whole thing is ridiculous. I don't think there's anything funny about, but don't now like fight me. You can't, don't say anything, there's nothing. That's literally what comedians do. That's the whole point of it. There's nothing funny about most things in our lives. Nothing funny about death, nothing funny about life, nothing funny about struggling. No, that's the whole point of it. Is to find a moment of solace. You know, there's nothing fun. Don't you dare make a joke. I wasn't going to make a joke about Charlie Kirk. It wasn't even like in my zeitgeist in that way. But don't, Trevor, there's nothing funny. Oh, but there is. You keep saying that and you're going to make me find the funny. I don't want to find the funny, but you're forcing it now. You're forcing it now. It is pretty crazy that like America's response to the guy getting shot was to limit speech instead of limiting the thing that ended his life. You know what I mean? It's pretty crazy to me. That's one of the wildest responses I've ever seen in my life. What happened to Charlie Kirk? He got shot. All right, tell people to shut up. We got to get some word control out in these streets. What about guns? Well, guns had nothing to do with this. No one even brought up the concept of like, man, maybe people at home shouldn't have a gun where you can shoot somebody from like a rooftop away. Maybe. No, this was just like, can you say something? Can you not say something? Let me tell you something. Jokes will never kill you. Never. There's no joke that can kill you. Every comedian is trying. Every comedian. Our dream is to make a joke that will kill one of you. That is our dream. They go like, what happened? Oh, man, someone was at Trevor's show and then he laughed so hard and then he died. I'm like, thank you very much. Good night. That's our dream. And I'm not saying there's no speech that's inflammatory or dangerous or insightful. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is if I was to make a bet on how to make a society safer, if I'm going to make it safer, right, and I get to choose between words and guns, I choose guns. That's my bet. I'm not an expert on any of this, by the way. I've just found that most of the time when someone's been shot, there's been a gun. A lot of time people have said words and they've just like walked away. So if I'm betting my money, I'm gonna go with guns. It is also weird that the guy, like, he wrote jokes on the bullets. That's, again, a terrible and funny when you have time to think about it. Because the fact that he had to write jokes on the bullets tells you that he knew that the jokes won't do anything. He was like, I'm gonna tell you, if you're reading this, you're gay. And it's like, nah, that doesn't do anything. What if you put it on a bullet? Oh yeah, that joke can kill now. Yeah, now that joke's a lot more effective. So yeah, man, so how do I feel? I don't know. Maybe it's a step in the right direction, maybe it isn't. Maybe the people are zealots, maybe I don't know. I won't judge anyone. But I do think it's a better place to be in, right? People make it like, well, like it's the worst. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the best. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe these are like sleeper agents. That's how you think of it, you know? Yeah, if there's people who can change how you see the world, it is like the Aziz Ansari's, the Kevin Hart's, can make you change anything up. Can you imagine Aziz like convincing them in Saudi Arabia? It's like, man, how come you guys don't? Like, I know how you guys don't let your women drive. And I'm like, dude, what the hell, man? Just let them drive, come on. I can see them changing their laws. I'll just be like, you know what? There's something about this guy. I like him. Oh, man. Like Kevin Hart on stage, busy like fighting about Saudi policies. He's like, man, man, let me tell you what I noticed. Let me tell you what I noticed about this shit y'all doing inside. All the organizations y'all funding. All those organizations that you're funding, don't fund them. Stop funding them. Why you being an organized power? Stop funding them, people. I think it's easy to focus on the wrong things. And I'm not saying again, it's not a binary. I'm not saying don't focus on some things. You know, it's good to hold people accountable. I think it's nice for people to tell the comedians they like, hey, I didn't like that thing you did, and then go back and forth and see. What I do think is interesting, though, to go back to the comedian thing, is that it's interesting how, like, especially in America now, it's like comedians don't have the latitude that, like, leaders have, right? I've seen these comedians that they'll tell a joke and people are like, don't you dare, rah! And then the president of the United States literally said, maybe I'll go for a third term, maybe. Maybe I will, maybe I'll stay. And people were like, what? And then when they asked his people, they're like, yo, he said he's gonna stay for a third term. They're like, no, he's joking. I was like, oh, so he can, president jokes, yeah, comedian, no! How dare you, President Dave Chappelle? So I don't know, Will. Yeah, I don't judge anyone, you know, because I think everyone will make the decision that they make. But I would hope that we just learn to focus not on the thing that everyone's showing us, but the thing that's actually happening. You know, like the comedians are not going to make or break Saudi and what's happening, but the thing that's making or breaking what comedians can or cannot say in America, that's a real thing that's happening. Yeah. So for me, there's definitely a story in like, oh, all these comedians went to Saudi. And then there should be an even bigger story about, whoa, all these comedians are now going to go to America. Whoa, good luck to them. You guys have been fun, man. Thanks for coming out tonight. Have a great night. Thanks for coming out. I think we treated Joe Biden like shit. Like, people just treated Joe Biden like absolute trash. And for what? Nothing. Not the man just got old. That's literally all he's guilty of. He got old. And people, they're like, oh my God, have you seen Joe Biden these days? He's so old. You're like, yeah. That's what happens. You get older as a person. I can't believe how old he is. I'm like, yo, when you voted for him, it's not like he was 20. People make it seem like he pulled like a magic trick and then all of a sudden flipped into an old man. He came in as an old man, and then now he was a slightly older man, and people are like, oh my God, I can't believe him. Why does he think he can be president? Because you told him he could. People were so shitty to Joe Biden. Then they were just like pulling at strings. I mean, like, God, you see the other day he forgot. He like forgot where he was. He said the wrong city. He said Rotterdam. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, people do that all the time, especially when you're older. Yeah, because think of it this way. It's not even about like old as in your brain is like, is degrading. Think about how much information you have consumed by that point in your life. Think about how many names you've heard, how many places you've been, how many stories. Of course some things are going to get jumbled up. It's like, yeah, the person's old. He's just old. That's all Joe Biden is. He's old. He'd be like, yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. It's not that. My grandmother, my grandfather, they would forget or switch my name with my siblings' names all the time. I'm sure you had that. Right? They're just like, my grandmother, sometimes she'd be like, Andrew. And I'll be like, no, Trevor. And she'd be like, Yeah, when she did that, there was no point where I was like, she needs to step down. She's not fit to be my grandmother anymore. We treat old people like such shit in society. It's like we make it like they're disposable. It's like, you're old. All right, get out of the way. You're old now. It's over. He just got old. Yeah, and yes, the things that he did, obviously, they don't make you comfortable. Don't get me wrong. Like, they'll throw you off. So, for instance, one of the big ones was he was at the G20, right? And he was introducing President Zelensky of Ukraine. And then he said,
it gives me a lot of pleasure to introduce to you right now the president of one of the most powerful presidents. I'm honored to introduce Vladimir Putin. Oh, no. I mean, and people are like, no, Joe, he's not fit to run this country.
I was like, yeah, he made a mistake. Think about how many times he says Putin, how many times he says... It's not like he said like a random... It's not like he was like, Idi Amin. No. He said, I get it, Putin, you know what I mean? Yeah, that can happen to you. It's a brain fart. And then people said the dumbest thing. Someone said to me, they were like, well, Trevor, what if it gets into a situation where he does something really bad? Like he could make a mistake like that and he could bomb the wrong country. I was like, do you know how countries work? What do you mean he could bomb the wrong country? What, you think just Joe Biden's there with the keys to the jet? And he's just like, I gotta pop out and do something real quick. I gotta fly to Eastern Europe. And he's like, take that, Ukraine. No! I meant Russia! You know how much bureaucracy exists between Joe Biden and a country being bombed? Like, if he said, we gotta bomb Ukraine, they'd be like, you mean Russia? They'd be like, oh yeah, I mean Russia, of course. It's not like it just happens. It's not a thing. We treated him like such trash. He's like an old man, trying to fight for his country. That's all he was doing. And here's the thing, forget the politics. It was just like the old thing that was like, I was like, why are we doing this, man? The guy's just old. He's not as sharp as he used to be. That's life. It's going to happen to all of us, hopefully. If you get there, it'll happen to you. I'm like, Joe Biden, trash. And look, I will be fair and I will be honest. I think what didn't help was that his team didn't acknowledge that he was getting older. I don't think that helps. And that is a problem I have with like a lot of American political spin. They try and tell you that what you're seeing is not what you're seeing. So like Joe Biden he'd be like, and then people would be like, yo, he's getting older. And then his team would be like, Joe Biden is not getting older at all. In fact, he's younger than he's ever been. We're like, that's not how numbers work. The man is just getting older and older and older. Just say, yes, he's old. Just say he's old. Because, he was making some mistakes. one of the ones that, one of the big ones that threw people off was he would repeatedly bring up world leaders that he had recently had a conversation with, which is fine. The only issue was that those world leaders had long been dead. And that would throw people off, He'd be up there and he'd be like,
I just had a conversation the other day with Chancellor Olaf, and people were like, Chancellor Olaf died 30 years ago. And they were like, oh no, Joe Biden, oh no.
And everyone's like, he's senile, he's got dementia, oh no. I understand why people thought that. I also should let you know, full disclosure, so we're completely honest in this room. I am biased, okay? I'm biased because I've met Joe Biden. I met him at an event called the White House Correspondents' Dinner, okay? In this event, you're there, the president is there. Because of the security and everything, you have to get there well ahead of time. So you spend time, you get to meet the president, you have a long conversation with him and the first lady, and then later on in the evening, you have another conversation, then after that, you have another conversation, and then after the event, you have another conversation. So in the span of like 5-6 hours, I got to speak to Joe Biden frequently. And I have nothing to gain from telling you this. The man's not running for president or anything. He's done. He was fully corpus mentis. He was with it. Slight speech impediment, yes, but otherwise he was with it. He could recall information. He kept up with the conversation. He was with me. He was lucid. It was fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, he would talk to me. He's like, hey, Trevor, another thing in the country, and the things I dream for as Americans, and you do that thing, and it was fine. It's not like he talked to me, and then like 3 hours later came back, and he was like, Jackie Robinson! That didn't happen. So no, I'll be honest, I have a different theory. I think, I don't think Joe Biden has dementia. I don't think he's senile. I just think Joe Biden is old. But I think he's so old that he can communicate with the other side. We don't consider that. But he's basically in that space between. That should have been their campaign, actually. Yeah, instead of saying he's not old, they should have doubled down. They should be like, you're damn right Joe Biden's old. He's the oldest president this country's ever had, and you should be grateful. Who better to protect the Constitution than someone who was there when they were writing it? But now he's out. And I'll be honest, I'm happy for him. I'm happy that Joe Biden gets to go out like this. I think, again, as an old person, you should have a dignified end. I think we've robbed old people of that in society. Capitalism and whatever. It's like, no, it's nice to you've lived your life, you've done your thing, relax now, And Joe Biden feels more relaxed. I don't know if you've seen him recently. He just has like a different swag to him now. He just, Yeah, it just feels like someone loosened up the joints, Because before, when you saw Joe Biden, he was a little precarious, When you see him walk, he didn't inspire confidence. He stumbly, and he always looked like a late stage Jenga tower, Which is probably why the Secret Service wasn't so good at protecting Trump or him. It's just in their defense, they've been protecting geriatrics for the past decade. Of course, they're not in practice. When they're protecting young presidents, they're like, all right, everybody, look out for the shooter. Look out, because the danger's up. That's where you got to look. You got to look up there. When you're protecting old people, you're just like, all right, look at the ground. Where's the stairs? Where's the stairs? Where's the stairs? Look out, Mr. President. There's a dog that's shat here. Hold on. Come on. He's got a different sort. Joe Biden's got he's got a vibe now, man. The other day he was at it was like a little, not a rally, it was just a meeting with a community somewhere. Some were Biden supporters, some weren't. He's just walking around greeting everyone. Hey, how you doing over there? Good to see you. How you doing? And there's a guy sitting wearing a Trump hat, right? Wearing a Trump hat, and Joe Biden comes like, hey, how you doing, man? And he's like, I don't like you. And Joe Biden's like, oh yeah, I don't like you either. And I was like, oh, who's this guy? He's like, oh yeah, I don't like you either. I don't like you. He's like, you're old. He's like, oh, you want to talk? Look at you, you're old. And he just started trading with this guy. Back, wasn't presidential. He wasn't like, oh, well, I see why you feel. He's like, nah, man, you old as shit. Look at your face. Goddamn. He's like, you old. You're just old. I'm old and I'm president, bitch. just had like a different like vibe to him. You're like, what? What? And the guy was wearing a Trump hat, and then he said something to buy you, something along those lines. He's like, yeah, that hat. And Joe Biden's like, come on, wear my hat. And he's like, no. He's like, would you wear this one? And Joe Biden's like, yeah, I'll wear your hat. Give me the hat. And he takes the hat, and he puts the Trump hat on. And he's like, yeah. And that guy, you should have seen that guy's face. He was like, wow. Because he thought maybe like Biden would like burn or something. I don't know. Just turned to, he was like, wow. He's like, I like you a lot more now. And then Joe Biden just walked away. He just had like his swag. He's like, all right, man, I see you, man. I'm happy for him. That's how everyone deserves to leave, you know? It's nice. And now it means he's out of it, but we're in it. You know, now the world, everyone in the world, because America's elections are the world's elections. You know, now see what happens. Now it's Kamala Harris instead. Yeah, that's going. Oh, is it a woo? Is it a woo for you? Okay. Wait. But what does it mean? What is it? Woo like I'm excited, or woo it's gonna happen?
It's happening.
It's happening. Damn, look at you. All right. Where do you live? Phoenix. Oh, damn. Okay, that's Arizona's important. Oh no, Arizona's important. Because if you said like New York, I'd be like, rah. But if you say you're feeling it and it's in Phoenix, okay. Because Kamala Harris is not going to be easy. I hope everyone understands that. You know, America has not shown itself to have a propensity to voting for new things. It really has not. And this is very new. Very, very new. You know, because Kamala Harris is a woman. Yes. And she's black. And Indian. Yeah. Now you realize Obama was level 1. America was so proud of itself. Thought it had clocked the game. That was the easiest level in the game. It was like Mario Brothers level 1. It was like, let's do this thing. Blip, 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 whoop, Hawaii, blip, 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 whoop, Hussein, blip, 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 whoop, Kenya, blip, 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 crook, 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 yes we can, blip, 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 I was like, yeah, we did it, we did it, we did it, yeah, woo. And then Kamala Harris stepped up, and then it was like, blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, man. Oh, man. You guys have been so much fun, man. Thanks for coming out tonight. I had a great time with all of you. Good night, y'all.
One more time, man. Show some love, man. Trevor Noah.
But now we're here in Amsterdam. Yes. The best dam of them all. What a good time it's been. What a good time. I'm glad I came here early on this trip because I got a few days of the good weather. I've heard so many rumors about it. Every time I come here, people are like, you should have come a few weeks ago. People in the Netherlands talk about their weather like a child who doesn't know where their dad is. No, he was here. He was here, but you didn't see him. He was here. Mommy said he's coming back. It's not just, you know what it is? It's not just the rain that gets me here. It's like a depressing season that sets over the entire place. You know, the entire thing. It's just like I'm used to rain, okay? I grew up in South Africa, in Johannesburg, right? We have a lot of rain, right? Yeah. I live in New York City now. We get a lot of rain. But you know what happens is the clouds come in, it rains, and then it leaves. Even if it rains for long, if you look into the distance, you can see parts of the sky in other cities that have no clouds. Here, it descends upon the entire Netherlands. Like an ancient wizard has cast a spell. You look as far as you can. Like 2 days ago, when it hit like properly, it hit. I looked out of my window and I was like, this is not possible. There are no clouds. It is just cloud. It's gray. There's no shape. There's nothing. You can't see anything. It's just gray as far as your eye can see from one corner to the next. And then the worst thing is, it's not rain, but it's rain. Just enough rain that you get wet, not enough that you need an umbrella. You just walk around with an umbrella, you feel like an idiot. You close it up, it's drenched all over your face. Tiny little droplets. You can't do anything. You don't want to be outside, but you don't want to stay inside. It's like depressing the whole time. The whole time. I was in this weather for 2 days. For 2 days, I was in this weather. I was sitting inside, I was looking at it, I was walking outside, I was feeling it. And in 2 days, I felt something deep inside me. I was like, "Gah, gah." And I was like, now I get it. Now I get why the Dutch colonized. I get it. I get it, man. Woo-wee. Ooh, don't even play games with me, Amsterdam. If I lived here for 6 months, after month 7, I would be like, ek moet 'n ander plek gaan. Ek wil nie the countries of other mense. That's probably what happened, right? Yeah, because it didn't happen the other way around. Right? It's not like anyone from Suriname was landing here. Right? There's no African boats arriving here. Africans weren't building boats, they were having a good time. Eating mangoes, enjoying the sunshine. The Dutch were like, we can't stay in this weather for any longer. I'm sick of this. And they set sail. The Dutch. It really is interesting. When we think about colonization really intrigues me as a concept. Not just like how it happened, but how we treat it today. I can feel some of the white people tensing up. Relax, it's a comedy show. Relax. Relax. I saw your shoulders, ma'am. You were like, eh. You're like, he's coming for us now. No, relax. It's a comedy show. For 1 hour, I forgive you. It's all right. Relax. No, okay, so here's what it is. Here's what it is for me, right? I travel to many places around the world. I do comedy shows. And I'll always announce that I'm going to a country to perform. What I find intriguing is certain countries get certain responses every single time. Every single time, right? And a lot of those countries will get a negative response, right? So recently, this was about a month ago, I was doing shows in Germany. And the same way I do every year, I announced. I said, I'm going to Berlin and Stuttgart, excited to be coming to Germany. And without fail, under my Instagram comments, under my Facebook comments, whatever social media I used, people were commenting underneath. Those Nazis. I hope you tell them that they're Nazis, Trevor. Don't forget to remind them what they did, Trevor. You tell them that they're Nazis, Trevor. I was like, which part of my comedy show do you think this is going to be happening in? Come on, good evening, Germany, you Nazis. But that's all I get in the comments. People will be like, yo, man, they don't even laugh. They shouldn't laugh. They don't have a sense of humor, those Nazis. Don't ever forget what they did, Trevor. And I understand it. I do understand it. But what I find interesting is that I'll travel to other countries that also have a harrowing past. And this is not a moment to compare the numbers and no. I just travel to places where they have a harrowing past. And I've noticed I don't get any of the same backlash. When I said I was coming to the Netherlands, people were just like, oh, enjoy the canals, woo! Yes, oh, Trevor, yeah, enjoy riding the bicycles, woohoo! Bring me back some weed, wah! I was like, what is it? What is it? How come some countries have this and some countries don't? And I was in Germany for about a week. And being there for a week, I got to sample how they live, what they do, what they don't do. And after having a meal there one day, I think I figured it out. I think I figured out why some European nations have been able to shake off most of their colonial baggage, and some have kept more of it than others. The history of what they did. And it all lies in the food. Yeah, my grandmother taught me this lesson when I was really young, and I didn't understand it. I was too young to get it. My grandmother used to love cooking for me and the entire family. She's the greatest cook ever. She'd cook for all of us on a Sunday by herself. Didn't want anyone else in the kitchen because she didn't want anyone taking credit for what she made. The only person who was allowed to be with her was me. And so me and my grandmother in the kitchen, and she loved me. I was her favorite grandchild because I could eat the most. And so she would give me the food while she's cooking. She's like, what do you think? And I was like, I'm not sure. And she'd give me again and be like, I'm not sure. And she'd be like, you're so naughty, Trevor. And then she'd make some more food, she'd make some more food. And then one day, out of the blue, my grandma was busy cooking everything, making everything, and she turned and she gave it to me, and I was like, that's so good, Granny. And she said, you know what, Trevor, can I tell you a secret? If you know how to cook well, you can make someone forget anything bad you've done. That's why your grandfather is still around. I was like, what? I didn't understand it. How could I? I didn't have the right information. Until recently, when I traveled to Europe and I actually spent time in these different countries, spent time sampling the culture, the life, and the food. And then I got it. I got it. All the countries that have been able to sort of like distract people are the countries that spent time in the kitchen. Yeah. Like the French. They have one of the worst legacies of colonization ever. Yeah. But when you ask them, you can't stay mad at them. You'll be like, yo, French, what did you do in Congo? They're like, what did I do with this croissant? Oh, have you tasted it? Oh, succulent. You go to Italians, you're like, what did you do in East Africa? They're like, but what did I do with this pizza? Mamma mia. Look at this pasta, just a taste it. This is the true travesty. Oh my God. Even the Dutch, you got in on the game. People are like, what were you guys doing when the spice trade? And you guys like, what do you mean with the puffer cheese? You mean with our little puffer cheese? You want to have some puffer cheese? The Belgians are like, have a waffle. Forget about what we did in Africa. And then you get to Germany and they're like, would you like to try some sauerkraut? And you taste that shit and you're like, we will never forget. Never. People get offended sometimes when I say these things, but it's something you actually shouldn't be offended by. You shouldn't be offended by it because I've learned in talking to like anthropologists and sociologists that a lot of the way people are in their cultures comes from the weather that they were raised in. This is a true thing. No, it's a true thing. So for instance, I've always been fascinated, like whenever I travel to Scandinavia, you know, like Sweden and Norway and all those places, I was always intrigued by the way they speak, right? Like they have a very like curt language. You know, like when you talk about, you say Spanish, you want to learn because it like sounds good, and like Swedish for me has always sounded the opposite. You know, it's just got that like tuck, tuck, hida, tuck, jada, kukkura, kutta, tora, kotta, muris, kutta, bura, kurin, 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 burtum, tura, kurishi, mutjado. It's like that thing. You know what I mean? And I was always like, why? And it turns out that Swedish people, over generations, we're talking about like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, because they lived in a climate that was so cold, you couldn't afford to open your mouth wide when you speak. Right? Like I grew up in Xhosa culture. My mother's Xhosa, my grandmother's Xhosa, that's my whole family. Xhosa people grew up in South Africa, warm climate. So when we speak, we open our mouths. Molo, that's how we greet you. Molo mhlobam, usaphila, alright, hayi ndimbonile. You see? It's because we've got warm air. We can take our time. If you've been to Sweden in the winter, you understand what you can't wait. You can't mess around out there. You just gotta get them. You can't be messing around when the temperatures are dropping to below zero. You can't be coming outside. Imagine you in Xhosa in Sweden. You're gonna come out there like more, freeze the shit out of your throat. So I'm not saying you're not kind. I'm just saying you're not warm. you know. The Dutch are very, in the time I've been here, like very efficient, you know, very logical people. If it doesn't make sense to you, it just doesn't make sense. You know, I asked someone yesterday, I said, hey, why does it seem like there's less transport? And then he was like, because there's a strike. That's what he said. He had like a weird, it was like Dutch, but it wasn't Dutch accent. He was like, yeah, because there's a strike. I was like, okay, well, when are they coming back? He's like, when they come back? I was like, all right, I guess you don't know. Dutch are just very like, you know when you can see it? You can see it when you go around Amsterdam and you watch Dutch people riding bicycles. I've never been to a country where people do such a fun activity in such a serious way. Everywhere else in the world, people on a bicycle look like they are living the personification of happiness. Because that's what a bicycle is. It's goofy, it's silly. Your legs are going round and round. You're there with the little bell, pring, pring. That's like a fun time, yay! And then here in the Netherlands, straight back, straight body, focus. Focus, 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 focus. We're going somewhere, focus, focus, focus. And God forbid you step in front of that bike, God forbid. Let me tell you something, I have never in my life been to a country where I would rather step in front of a car than a bicycle. I have never in my life, every day that I've been out here, I've forgotten, I'll step into the bicycle lane, you see them flying at you, and for safety I'll jump to the cars, because I know I've got a better chance of surviving. Your bike riders here do not give a shit. They do not give a shit. They come at you. It's almost like they go faster when they see you. You step into that lane, people lose their shit. Come at you full speed. Full speed. Take I've never heard a bell sound angry until I came to the Netherlands. Angry as shit. Kring, 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 kring. Kring, kring. One guy screamed at me, he's like, hey, why don't you look? Why don't you look behind you? I'm like, because that's not how looking works. What do you think, I just live my life like I owe people money? Think I'm just walking around like this? Why don't you look behind you? Why don't you use your brakes? People in the Netherlands act like this is an action movie and there's a bomb on their bike and they can't stop or the shit will blow up. Just hit the brakes. There's a human being in front of you. They pedal faster. They pedal faster. They've got kids. It's like the kids are little torpedoes they're going to use on you. You've got your family in the front of this thing and you go faster. Yeah. I'm like, are you shitting me? The kid's there with his helmet, ready to kill me. Almost aiming at me like, yeah, papa, yeah, papa. Yeah, papa, let's go, papa. Yeah. Just hit the brakes. It's a bicycle. You can slow down. I want to do that. I'm actually going to go around. I'm going to go around Amsterdam and I'm going to mess with people. Because I've noticed the Dutch, you guys take Sundays pretty chill. I'm going to wait for a Sunday. I'm going to wait for a Sunday when you guys are enjoying yourselves, walking through the canals, having a nice time in Amstel Park. And then I'm going to come there. I'm just going to start walking really fast. Walking really fast. Walk straight through you and your family while you're sitting on those blankets. Just come straight there. Yeah.